All right, for today, we're going to be looking at questions 19 through 32. Okay, this is actually a very, very interesting topic. So I'm going to use 19 through 32. I'm going to look at this of various ways. We're going to call this similar right triangles. And the reason why, because we start with the right triangle here. In order for this to be a right triangle, one of my corners has to be 90 degrees. So I start with the right triangle, but inside of it, I'm going to cut it to make two right triangles. Technically, here's the third angle, so you guys can see three triangles in there. The small triangle is here. So looking at this small triangle, let me label my sides as small, medium, and large. Like the three sides have different measurements. The large side is always away from the 90 degrees, so that's the large side. The small side will be here, and the medium side will be here. Okay. On another triangle, one highlighted in blue, this will be the small side, this will be the medium side, and this will be the large side. Okay, interesting part though. Look at the medium side of the red triangle. It is equal to the small side on the bigger triangle. Okay, let me just repeat that again. Look at the medium side of the red triangle. It is the same side, but it's the small side from the blue triangle. And then obviously we had the triangle that we started with, the black triangle. And then in this case, I'm gonna say this is the small side, this is the medium side, and this is the large side of the big triangle. So the large side of the red triangle is the small side of the big triangle. So there's gonna be some matching there. If you guys can write this down like this, like the way I have it here, this will help you a lot. Let me take a look at an example. The segments KN and NM form the hypotenuse of the right triangle KLM. The lengths of these segments are KN is 4, NM is 8 respectively. Find the length of the altitude LN to the hypotenuse of the triangle KLM. So what they're saying is they gave us the KN is 4, NM is 8. They want us to find the segment LN. Right now, I don't know how big it is, so let me call it X. So now let me not use red or blue or black because that's what we used earlier. Let me use green. I'm gonna call this side X, and that's what we're trying to solve. What I'm going to do, I'm gonna do my small triangle. Earlier, I colored it red. So this is the small side, the medium side, and the large side of the small triangle. So looking at that, my small side is 4. The medium side is X, and the large side, remember there's a small, medium, and large of the small triangle. I don't know the large side. So I'm just gonna write the small side is 4, the medium side is X. And then there was a triangle that I color blue. I'm not drawing them to scale, drawing them almost the same side. But I remember the blue triangle was this one. Remember from my notes. And then I said this is the small, medium, and large. So the small side, and I'm just gonna write them here, small, medium, large. So the small side is X, the medium side is 8, and the large side, I don't know. Okay. And then lastly, we also had a black triangle. There's a small side, medium side, and a large side. The small side, I don't know. The medium side, right, the side LM, I don't know how big it is. Now the The large side is 12 because 4 and 8 combined gives me 12. So I'm looking at my three triangles. To be honest, you're only going to use two out of the three. And then the two triangles you're going to use are the two triangles where you know two sides of it. And it is okay if one side is x, okay? You're going to use the two triangles where you know where you have something about small, medium, and large, two of those sides. So that means that I'm gonna use this one because I know the small and medium side. And I'm gonna use the blue triangle because I know the small, medium side. So from the red triangle, let me use red here. I'm gonna use the values from the red triangle, which are 4 and x. I'm actually gonna make fractions. Now the small side is 4, right? So what's the small side on the blue triangle? Is x. Okay, not a big deal. The medium side on the red triangle was x. What's the medium side on the blue triangle? 8. Now I'm just going to cross multiply. The hard part in reality was uh, writing my three triangles and then knowing which two triangles I was going to use. I'm just going to cross multiply it. So this way, x times x, it is not 2x, okay? X times x, that gives me x to the second power, so x squared equals 4 times 8, which I know is 32. Okay, how do I undo a square? We saw it yesterday. How do I undo a squared? Actually, not yesterday. We saw it at the beginning of the week. The way I undo a squared is with the square root. So I'm going to say x is equal to the square root of 32. Now, we don't know how to type symbols. So I'm actually going to use my calculator. Remember, I gave you guys a calculator before. To remember it on the side of your computer on Canvas, you go to calculator, you open it, it looks like this. So the question was, what's the square root of 32? So I'm going to type in square root 32, press enter. That gives me a long decimal place, a long decimal. I see 5.6568. Let me just put it in there. Okay, it gives me a long, long decimal. We did not specify how many decimal places we wanted. When it is not specified, we're going to go with 2 decimal places. So I see my third decimal place is 6. So let me write it here. So 5 point, let me come back here. So my x was 5.656. We're going to go 2 decimal places. My third decimal place is big enough, so it's going to push the previous number over. So my answer is going to be 5.66. Okay. Instructions, I did not write 2 decimal places, but here in the video, I'm telling you 2 decimal places. So I do expect the answer to be 2 decimal places. So the 6 pushed it over. So I'm going to go 5.66. Okay. We're working up until 32, right? So let's take a look at number 20. The segment PS and SR from the hypotenuse of the right triangle PQR. So the length of this segment's PS is 15. I see it. PS is 15. SR is 27, respectively. Find the length of the altitude QS. So they want me to solve for QS. I don't know how big this value is, so I'm going to call it X. Find the length of the altitude QS, so the hypotenuse of the triangle PQR. Okay, so when I look at my red triangle, Remember my red triangles here. Here's the small side, medium side, and the large side. So this is the small, medium, and large. I see that the small side is 15, the medium side is X, and I don't know anything about the large side. Okay. From my blue triangle, here's the small side, medium side, and large side. So I know the small side, medium side, and large side. The small side is X, the medium side is 27, and I don't know anything about the large side. Now the big triangle, I'm gonna draw it in black. I need to find the small, medium, and large. So I know the small side, I don't know. The medium side on the black, I don't know. Now the large side, this is the large side on the black, is 27 plus 35. I mean 27 plus 15. What's that? Let's see, 37, 42. So the large side is 42. The two triangles I'm going to use are these two because I know the small and medium side of each. Looking at the red triangle, let me write, I'm going to use the sides 15 and X. I know 15 goes with X on the blue triangle. And then X goes with 27. Okay, so that's not a big deal. Let me cross multiply. I mean, X times X, I know it's X squared. 15 times 27. Use a calculator if you need to. 15 times 27 is 405. The way I'm going to do a squared is by doing the square root. So X is equal to the square root of 405. Let me use my calculator then. Square root of 405. Press entered. So 20.12. I see that? Because the third decimal number, the fourth is too small, so I'm just going to run it to 20.12. Okay. Let's take a look at number 21. A post is anchored in the ground by two cables. The two cables that meet in the top of the post, which is point P, contact the grounds at point P and R. So far what we have said is that there's two cables and they meet a post here. Esmond wants to know the height the post is. So he wants to solve for the height. So the post, I don't know how big it is, so I'm gonna call it X for right now. Esmond notices the cables are a 90-degree angle from each other the measures, and the distance PS is 8. So we can see from P to S is 8. We can see already marked. The measurement SR is 16. How high in meters did Esmond calculate the post to be? Round your answer to 2 decimal places if necessary. Okay. So again, let me see this as a red triangle. Here's the small, medium, and large of the small triangle. So I'm gonna go small, medium, and large. The small side is 8. The medium side is X. And for the large side, I don't know. I'm gonna leave it empty. Then let me do a blue triangle here. Here's the small side, medium, and large of the blue triangle. So small, medium, and large. The small side is X. The medium side is 16, and the large side, it's empty. I don't know it. Actually, let me do a better side. better thing. This blue triangle looks off. Let me redo it. Small, medium, large. I said the small side is X. The medium side is 16, and we don't know the large side. Okay. How about the black triangle? Small, medium, and large. The small side, I don't know how big the small side. The medium side, I don't know how big the medium side is. The large side is 24. Right, because 8 plus 16. Okay, which two triangles have the two sides, the two corresponding sides? So from the red triangle, I'm going to use the measurements 8 and X. The 8 from the red is corresponding to the X in the blue. The X from the red is corresponding with 16 from the blue. So this is not that bad. Let me cross multiply it. X times X gives me X squared. 16 times 8 is 128. So X must be the square root of 128. I'm not going to go back to showing the calculator because I showed you guys earlier how to do it. So I'm just going to type it in on mine, the square root of 128. According to my calculator, I'm going to round it to 2 decimal places. I'm going to call this 11.31. Let's take a look at number 22. A post is anchored in the ground by two cables. The two cables that meet on the top of the post point Q contact the ground at point P and R, both collinear with point S, where the base of the post is. Esmond wants to know how high the post is. So we know the post in this case is the segment QS. I'm going to call it X because we don't know how the height of the post. And the distance PS is 39. The distance CSR is 12. How high in meters did Esmond calculate the post to be? Round your answer to 2 decimal places if necessary. Okay. Now, the difference between 21 and 22 is that I flipped the picture. That's what it is. And then obviously some different measurements. So I'm going to start with the red triangle. I know I need a small, medium, and large for this triangle. So that's going to be this small triangle here. Small, medium, and large. The small side is 12. The medium side is X, and the L side is blank. Okay. Then I'm going to use the blue triangle here. I need to calculate small, medium, large. The small side, and then here it was small, medium, large. The small side is X. The median side is 39, and the large side is blank. Okay. And then big triangle, there's small, medium, and large. So the small side, I don't know. The medium side is also blank. The large side is 39 plus 12, so that's 51. I know the corresponding size in these two. Okay, so from the red triangle, I'm going to use the measurements 12 and X. I know 12 goes in the blue triangle, 12 is corresponding with X, and then X is corresponding with 39. Okay, so now I just have to cross multiply. We've been working on that, so that's not bad. X times X gives me X squared. 12 times 39, I'm going to type it on my calculator. 12 times 39 is 468. So X is the square root of 468. According to my calculator, the square root of 468 is 21.63. Oh, not bad. Now, some of you guys might be thinking, why do I need to know the black triangle? I never use it. Well, sometimes we might. Sometimes we might. Let's flip the page. Let's take a look at number 23. Tony was hired to build a new modern monument in the city. The piece will be made of two large metal bars forming a right angle with each other like the drawing below. One of the bars, A, will be made out of iron. One of the bars and the other bar, B, will be made of titanium. Tony will be given an iron bar of 7 meters. That's the bar A, right? So I'm going to say this is 7. And the titanium, which is B, it's going to be 14. Tony has to use all the material. How tall would the monument be? We're going to call this side, we're going to call it X. Maybe I should go with green, right? I don't want us to get confused with the black triangle. So we know this is 7. We know this side is 14. And we want to solve for this side X. Okay. My red triangle, usually the small triangle. I need to find the small, medium, and large. So I'm going to go here. This is the small, medium, and large. For the small side is blank, the medium side is X, and the large side is 7. Okay. Now let me go with a blue triangle here. Small, medium, and large. The small side is X, the medium side is blank, the large side is 14. Okay. And then the black side, let's take a look. The small side is 7. The medium side is 14. And the large side, I don't know right now. Now, do we have two triangles that have corresponding sides? Okay, so let me ask this again. Are the red and blue corresponding sides? No. Are the any others? No. Now there's one thing. Notice how on the black side, everything is numerical, right? Remember Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared? Let me rephrase that here. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. So the square root of a squared plus b squared is equal to c. That means that this long side is the square root of 7 squared plus 14 squared. What's that? Let me bring that in my calculator. Now that one I'm going to use. Let me share my calculator here. I'm going to do the square root of 7 squared plus 14 squared. Enter. Ooh, that's a big number, right? Don't want to write it all. So let me just write the first four decimal places. So I'm going to call this 15.6524. So this is 15.6524. Now I got choices. I can use, um, which one should I use? Let me use these two triangles. From the red triangle, I have the measurements X and 7. I wrote X first because X is smaller than 7. Now X goes with 14th. From the black triangle, it's 14th. 7 goes with 15.6524. Now I'm just going to cross multiply. I have that 15.6524x is equal to 98. Right, I just cross multiplied. Divide both sides by 15.6524. Gonna round it to two decimal places. I'm gonna call this 6.26. Oh, a little more interesting. Became a little more interesting. Let's take a look at question number 24. Let me start with drawing the triangles here. The small, medium, and large for my red triangle. I'm gonna need a blue triangle, small, medium, and large. And I'm gonna need a black triangle, small, medium, and large. Okay. Let me see, what do I know here? Renee was hired to build a new modern monument in the city. The city will be made of two large metal bars forming a right angle with each other, like in the drawing below. One of the bars, which is bar A, will be made out of copper. Okay, A is coppered. And B will be made out of iron. Renee will be given a copper of 2 meters. So the A is 2. And I'm going to say B is 1 because it says an iron bar of 1 meter. If Renee has to use all the materials, how tall would the monument be? So this thing right here, X. How tall is that? Okay, easy. Let me work this out. My red triangle. Here's a small, medium, and large. So the small, I don't know. My medium is X and the large side is 1. From the blue triangle, is the small side, medium, and large. The small side is X, the medium side is blank, and the large side is 2. From the black triangle, this is the small side, this is the medium side, and this is the large side. The small side is 1, the medium side is 2, and I don't know the large side. Okay, two triangles that have the corresponding sides. Okay, from the red triangle, I have medium and large. From the blue triangle, I have small and large, not the corresponding sides. And then from the black triangle, I have small and medium, not corresponding sides. Okay, so I'm gonna type this in because I see the black side. For the third side, I'm gonna do the square root of 1 squared plus 2 squared. Type that on my calculator, and that gives me 2.2361. I have all three sides on the black one. Okay, cool. This case, let me use, which side should I use? Let's use the blue triangle now. On the blue triangle, I have the measurement X and 2. Small side and large side. So from the black triangle, the small side is 1 and the large side is 2.2361. Cross multiplied. 2.2361 times X is equal to 2. Divide both sides by 2.2361. X is equal to, according to my calculator, 0.89. I'm running to 2 decimal places. Whew. Remember, I'm going to question number 32 because I want us to practice this a few times. The legs of the right triangle PQR measured 15. So R is 15, P is 8, and the leg of the altitude to the hypotenuse, find the length of the altitude to the hypotenuse of the triangle PQR. So this right here, let me call it X. Okay, so let me look. My red triangle, small, medium, and large. My red triangle is right here. Small, medium, and large. So the small side is blank, the medium side is X, and the large side is 8. My blue triangle, small, medium, large. I'm going to say this is small, medium, and large. So the small side is X, the medium side is blank, and the large side is 15. The black side, there's a black triangle, right? Small, medium, and large. The small side is 8. The medium side is 15. And the large side is blank. Okay. I see that on the red, I'm using the medium and large. On the blue, I'm using small and large. So not corresponding sides. And I see that in black, I'm using small, medium. Okay. So we got to do this again. I see black, it's all numerical. So I'm going to do the square root of 8 squared plus 15 squared. And tells me this side is 17. Okay. I know all 3 sides from the black triangle. Okay. So let's use these two. From the red triangle, I know the medium side is X and the large side is 8. So medium and large. So I know from the black triangle, the medium side is 15 and large side is 17. Cross multiplied. 17 times X is 17X. 8 times 15 is 120. Let me divide both sides by 17. And it gives me, I'm going to round it to 2 decimal places, gives me 7.06. Take a look at number 26. The legs of a right triangle ABC measured. C is 9, A is 12. Find the length of the altitude to the hypotenuse of the triangle ABC. So basically, we need to find this side. I'm going to call it X. Here's my red triangle. Here's the small, medium, and large. The small side is blank, the medium side is X, and the large side is 9. Now let me take a look at my blue triangle. Here's small, medium, and large. The small side is X, the medium side is blank, the large side is 12. And lastly, let me take a look at my black triangle. There's a small, medium, and large. The small side is 9, the medium side is 12, and the large side is blank. Oh, the medium side is 12. So I see on the red triangle, I have medium and large. On the blue triangle, I have small and large, not the same things. And then for the black triangle, I have small and medium. The black triangle is all numerical, so I can solve for the large side. I'm gonna do the square root of 9 squared plus 12 squared. According to my calculator, that gives me 15. So I know the three sides of the black triangle are 9, 12, and 15. Okay, so from the other two triangles, just let me pick one. Doesn't matter, I'll pick the red one. So the two measurements that I know are X and 9. And I'm gonna use the black one. So X is medium, right? So X goes with 12. 9 is large, so 9 goes with 15. Let me cross multiply it. 15 times X is 15X. 9 times 12 is 108. Let me divide both sides by 15. 108 divided by 15 gives me 7.2. Don't have to round to two decimal places. It's just 7.2. Okay, not bad. Let me flip the page. We're almost there. Matt was hired to build a new modern monument in the city. The piece will be made out of two large metal bars forming a right angle with each other like the drawing below. One of the bars will be made out of iron. Okay, so let's see. Iron. A is iron and B will be aluminum. Matt will be given an iron bar of 22 meters. So this is 22 and the aluminum will be 19. Matt has to use all the material. How tall would the monument be? So the height, right here it is X. Okay. Let's do my red triangle. Small, medium, and large. So this is small, medium, and large. So the small is blank. The medium is X. And the large is 19. Okay. Let's take a look at the blue triangle. Okay, the small, medium, and large. So the small is X, the medium is blank, large is 22. And then the big triangle, the black one, small, medium, and large. The small side is 19. The medium side is 22. Okay, so I don't have corresponding size, right? Because medium and large on the red, small and large, small, medium. So I'm gonna say this thing has to be here in the black one. I'm gonna do, for the large side, I'm gonna go the square root of 19 squared plus 22 squared. Pause the video if you don't believe me, but I'm gonna say it gives me 29.2. 0.0689. Now it doesn't matter which one I use. Let's use the blue triangle with the black triangle. So from the blue triangle, I have the measurements X and 22. X is small, and then the small value in the black one is 19. 22 is the large side, and the large side on the other one is 29.0689. Now we're going to cross multiply 29.089x is equal to, let's see, 22 times 19 gives me 418. Let's divide both sides by 29.0689. So let's see, 418 divided by 29.0689. It gives me 14.379. So I'm going to call this 14.38. Whoa, okay. James was hired to build a new modern city. The piece will be made of two large metal bars forming a right angle with each other, like in the drawing below. One of the bars will be made out of iron and the other one will be made out of titanium. The iron is 21. So this is 21. The titanium is 20. How tall is the building? I'm going to call this X. I need to come up with a red triangle. I need to find small, medium, and large. I'm going to use this red triangle. Here it is. The small, medium, and large. So small is blank, the medium is X, and the large is 20. I'm going to come out with the blue triangle here. Small, medium, and large. So the small side is X, the medium side is blank, large side is 21. And lastly, a black triangle, small, medium, large. The small side is 20. The medium side is 21. Okay, I need to come up with the large side. It's the square root of 20 squared by 21 squared, which according to my calculator, it's 29. Making sure that I did type it right. 20 squared plus 21 squared. Yeah, 29. Good. I don't have to deal with decimals. So let's pick a side. Let's pick these two triangles. So from this blue triangle, I have the values X and 21. X is small, and in the black triangle, the small is 20. 21 in the blue triangle is large, but the large side in the black triangle is 29. So I'm going to cross multiply. 29 times X is 29X. 21 times 20 is 420. Let me divide both sides by 29. X happens to be 14.48. Post is anchored in the ground by two cables. The two cables that meet in the top of the post contact the ground at points A and C with collinear point D where the base of the post is. Alfred wants to know how high is the post. You know what? I think I did similar questions to 29 and 30 before, so I'm going to skip those. Let's take a look at number 31 and 32. The segment LN is the altitude to the hypotenuse of the triangle KLM. If the measurement of angle LKM is 27 degrees, which we see it marked already, find the measurement of the angle MLN. So we want to know this angle. Okay. One thing, let me find the three angles on the triangle on the left. So let me highlight it in blue. I see 27, I see 90, and I'm going to call this third angle 63. Right? Because what I did is I added the two angles that I knew, 90 and 27. That's 117. I subtracted from 180. That gave me 63. Okay, so I found that angle. But wait a minute. I see 63 in this angle that I'm looking for. Let me call it X. 63 without making a 90-degree angle. So 63 plus X is equal to 90. So let me subtract 63. So that gives me the X is equal to 27. Okay, there you go. Found it. You might be wondering, wait a minute, I've seen that angle before. Yeah, remember how at the beginning I called this similar right triangles? So they're similar triangles. It makes sense that I'm using the same angles. So let's see. 32 here. Question number 32. I'm going to look at this blue triangle here. One angle is 30, one angle is 90. Oh, by the way, I'm looking for the segment QS is the altitude to the hypotenuse in the triangle PQR. If the angle QPR is 30, so they gave me the 30 degrees, find the angle RQS. So I'm solving for this angle right here, which I'm going to call it X. First, so let me mark that in red. I'm looking for X. So first in the blue triangle, the two angles that I know, 90 and 30, they add up to 120. I subtract that from 180. So I get that this third angle is 60. Okay. Now I know that 60 plus X, they combine equals the 90-degree angle because that's the corner there. Let me subtract 60. So X is equal to 30. Makes sense that I was using that angle earlier as well. Okay.